Hey, everybody. Good evening. Good Wednesday evening. Today is March 25th, 2026. It is 8:04 on your PM dial. This is LHG. I'm coming in tonight with my bro Hamlet, the broski. Frederick, how are you, sir?
What's going on? How are you doing? It's been a while. It's been a
I
long
know,
time.
right? It
Yeah.
has. We use the tag team. Always has some really great topics, especially when it comes to building a non-antagonistic dialogue uh, atmosphere for men and
Mm,
women to just really share their hearts about how they feel about things. And when I posted that post, I knew it was going to be a little controversial, but sometimes it's good to have that one-on-one, not face to face, but voice to voice, at least tonight, to kind of gain understanding on where we are coming from in our different perspectives. And one thing you and I have always been able to do, even if we didn't necessarily agree, we will always have mutual respect for each other's feelings and each other's stance on whatever topic it is.
yes.
And I thank you.
Always.
I thank you for that because, as you can see in social media, there's always this us against them, y'all against us
Mm,
type of approach when it comes to how we talk about relationships. And I, without trying to say too many names, I don't want to disrespect anyone who isn't living. But I have to say, the late Kevin Samuels, although he had some things that were decent to say, I just personally saw his approach as being a little harsh in terms of how he talked to women and how he made women feel. But on the other hand, some of the points he made about how we present ourselves, what we're looking for, how sometimes our expectations are unrealistic. I agree. I agree. But this whole us against y'all, this whole tit for tat competition, I'm over all of that. At this point, at 50, what I want after being divorced now for almost 2 years, rebuilding my life, I want to have an understanding. I think it's Escape that has a song. What I need from you is understanding. If we can start right
mm,
there, I think that is a good place to build. So I want to get your take on what we're going to do tonight as we flow. We didn't come in here with any tenants, but I want to
nope.
create some as we talk because we're going to come back to this. This is going to be
Hmm.
kind of a ongoing series. I started doing the Talks with My Brothers series about a year ago with you, Nicole C. I had a few of you all come through and kind of just sit down with me and hear my heart and I hear y'all heart. And then I found that some of my thought processes concerning dating were kind of off because y'all was like, that's not how we do. That ain't how that works. So I want to reignite that because I was way off, bro. Because I don't even remember. Particularly, I was like, okay, we go on a date. A man buys me dinner, 2 chicken wings and a Coke, whatever. Hey, we go together. You was like, sis, no, we just bought you a meal and we're not exclusive because of 2 chicken wings. No, that's a no. Yeah.
Yeah,
But in
man.
my head, bro, I'm like, oh, we in this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean,
But it
I
just
but
kind of shows that we think differently, right? Don't we?
we do most definitely think differently, and I have to agree with you about the adversarial nature of how these podcasts, so a lot of these podcast platforms present relationships, especially between black men and black women. It's
Mm.
it's adversarial. I won't even say adversarial to a fault. It's just adversarial for no reason for it to be
Mm.
adversarial. Why? Why? And I said this before. Can, can we get back to respecting each other? Can we get back to honoring each other? Can we get to that point
Wow.
to where to where we can to where respect and honor means something. Can we get back to that? I mean, can we get back to just understanding where each of us is, not as just man, not just black men and black women, but as human beings? Because I think when it comes to that, I think we forget the human aspect of all of it.
That's good. I think you just gave me my first 3 tenets: respect, honor, and humanity. So if we can agree that no matter what we disagree on, and I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, some of this is going to align with just a relationship, period, a friendship, a coworker, a marriage, whatever. We miss the whole concept of relating. And how are we relating when we don't have mutual respect? We don't honor each other for who we are, which means for the experiences we bring to the table. And then the humanity part is we're not gonna agree on everything.
Nope.
I mean, you might find someone who's close, like, man, we got a lot of commonalities, but we are individuals, bro.
Yeah, man.
So I'm like,
that's important right there. That's an important thing that you mentioned.
Yes.
And the other thing I want to say, in order to have a relationship, you need to be relational.
Oh, come on with it.
You need to be relational, which means you need to be approachable. I mean, of course, if you're having a bad day, then someone's going to detect that and try and probably step off or not say anything. But if you ain't having a bad day, if you're having a bad day, and this goes for both men and women, what I'm about to say, if you're having a bad day, if you're not having a bad day, then you shouldn't be having a resting bitch face.
Oh wait.
If you want to have conversations with folks, learn to be conversational. If you want to have relations with folks, learn to be relational. And I'm not talking about the relationships that start with fiery lawns. I'm talking about the ones that start with conversation.
Them fiery lawns get you in trouble, bro.
Yeah. You want to have a relationship with somebody, be relational, be approachable, just be someone that's open to a diverse conversation. Because everybody ain't gonna share your beliefs. Everybody's not gonna share your thought process. Everybody's not going to share how your perspectives or how you see things. That's why we're called individuals, because each one of us has something different.
That's good. I think you hit something on the head when you said we're individuals and we all really have our own thought process. So when you go into a conversation, I think you have to look at your intent. Is my intent or intention to prove them wrong and me right? If that's the ultimate reason why you're conversing, then that might be a problem. So maybe we got to, first of all, in the whole respect factor, check our motives. The communication process should be to learn. There should be some giving and some receiving in terms of I can learn from you, you can learn from me. But if you're ultimately going into it, unless you are a lawyer and you are arguing a case, that's one thing. That's a job. That's a career. But in conversation, especially with somebody who you feel they're worth conversing with and you like them or love them, your objective cannot be, I'm going in here to prove they're right, well, they're wrong, and I'm right. And I have to admit that in my marriage, I felt that way a lot. First of all, let me back up. I also felt, let me put this on the table, and I don't know how it's going to come out, but I'm just going to put it out here. I think it's important that you marry someone, date someone, court someone, then marry someone that you feel is intellectually your match. And I say that because if you don't, and you go into it with thinking you're intellectually higher than them, I think every conversation is going to be more like a child and a parent, or a teacher and a student. You got to stop settling for people who you don't even necessarily like. That's the problem for me. Because many of us, for women, we just say, oh, well, he'll do. I mean, he checks some of the boxes. Everything else, I'll just deal with. Nope. That ain't gonna work.
If that person don't check all the boxes,
or at least
every last one.
Boxes. Are your boxes reasonable? Have a Tanya Thomas. Hi, sister. Thank you for coming through. What are your boxes, and are they aligned? And my pastor said that he had to give his boxes over to God. Am I even looking for the right stuff?
And then you know what? Even when that, to add to even amplify that particular point, which are your boxes are not which boxes that you have are non-negotiable?
Oh, yeah.
What's next? And see, and this is the thing. This is another thing, and I'm learning this as number one, being married. Number one,
right?
And then also being in a relationship with being in a relationship. You have to figure out what's negotiable and what's non-negotiable.
Okay.
That has to be put on the table immediately. Now, I won't say immediately, but I need to know what your non-negotiables are. You need to know what my non-negotiables are. You need to know what I'm willing to negotiate on, and you need to know what I need to know what you're willing to negotiate on. Those things don't have to necessarily line up.
Okay.
They don't, because my negotiables are going to be different from your non-negotiables, and vice versa.
Okay.
But I need to know what you got, what you're willing to negotiate on, and what you're not willing to negotiate on. Because then that gives me some breathing room to make adjustments, to make adjustments to that. If this is a non-negotiable for you, then okay, I know off rip that's not going down, period. But then if you're willing to come to the table and talk, and then we can have dialogue and say, hey, well, maybe I know this is something that you may be on the fence about, but can we meet halfway on it? Is there a point where we can meet halfway on it? And so that way it makes things better for both of us, not just for you, because relationships aren't just beneficial. They're relationships, to me, at least, romantic ones, are not beneficial to one gender.
I agree. We make it like that sometimes. We have that happy wife, happy life.
No,
I hate that. I mean, that might sound crazy because I'm a woman, but I don't subscribe to that. I don't think to just make a woman happy and not be happy.
But guess what, sis? That's something that's been that particular phrase has been what a lot of men and a lot of women who are married have went by for ages now. But now, as you look at that diversity of relationships, but also you look at how and what's the way I want to put this? You look at how both men and women treat each other in relationships. You say now folks say happy spouse, happy house, and spouse could be male or female.
Absolutely. But let's go back a little bit, because I want to kind of set some framework. First of all, welcome those of you who are in the comments. Leonard Reed, thank you for being such an avid supporter of CCN. I appreciate you. And to my sister LaTanya Thomas, who we go back a few years. Great to see you in the comments. And for those of you who are tuning in, this whole discussion stemmed from, let me set the framework, a post that I made. And you know how you see memes and different things and you share them, and they may mean one thing to one person and something else to another. So it says something like, when a woman pays her bills alone, men become less and less attractive. And my response was like, ask me how I know. So, and at face value, it may seem like, well, is she a gold digger? Is everything about money? But the key parts of that statement a woman paying her bills alone. Now, if you are single, you should be paying your bills alone. You are not married. It is not a man's job while you are dating to pay your bills. Now, if he just wants to be a kind gentleman, and say, well, you know, honey, I would love to, let me handle your cell phone bill this month. Let me grab the light bill this month. You know, thank you very much. But I have never been the kind of woman to ask a man for anything. I work every day to cover my adult expenses. Okay.
That's right.
That's one thing. But having
that's right.
house, having been married, having been the breadwinner, having had the load on me, having had to make decisions, having had to be the sole provider or the head of household, which ain't what God designed me to be. I'm supposed to be the helpmeet, but having had to keep that role in a home, having had to be that leader at work, having had to raise a child by myself, you know, with my family, but because of how I am wired and my experiences, when I saw that post, it hit home for me because in hindsight, being outside of that marriage and now starting over, yeah, if I'm going to go down, I could do bad by myself. Now, of course, you may hit a rough spot. People can be millionaires, get married, and end up broke because life happened, COVID happened, sickness happened, whatever. And yes, your vows are sickness and health, richer or poorer. But coming from what I have endured, having someone pretty much tell you what you want me to do, it has hardened me, if I can be very transparent, brother. Very transparent. It has hardened me. It has made me cautious. It has made me side eye. So it's like, bruh, if I gotta struggle and do everything, and I'm looking at you and you ain't even trying to help in a relationship, because again, if we're just dating, it ain't his job or my job to take care of each other's finances. But it does make a man less attractive if he ain't even coming with a game plan or even showing me he got his own stuff tight, bro.
Yeah, I get it.
Does that make sense?
I get that. It does. Now to kind of put a counter out there. Okay. Counterpoint. One, and with this, you mentioned it already. Being a single person, not living by yourself, you are responsible for 100% of you. What and where my disagreement came in is that and I mentioned it in a post that I made. So this is the post that I made, and I'm not going to say it verbatim. I'm going to paraphrase, and it was kind of a counter to what you had mentioned. So if we're in a relationship, right, there are going to be what I consider shared responsibilities, shared risk. Both of us are in this relationship to build together, so we're both going to assume responsibility and risk. Whatever those responsibilities can be, whatever has been outlined in that relationship, whatever the guideline is in that relationship. The risk, however, are pretty much going to be the same thing because we're both taking the same risk: monetary risk, emotional risk, time risk, mental health risk. All these are risks. And my thing was like, okay, so if I'm taking more risk than you are, then we're not building. That's asinine. And if I gotta build a house, then I'm gonna live in it by myself.
Okay.
So
I hear that.
And the thing, and again, I do not agree. I do to a certain extent. I do agree with what the gist of what the post is. But there are also certain aspects to that. Because what's the exception and what's the rule? Because that's going to be the question I ask. What's the exception? What's the rule? Who's the exception and who's the rule? Because if a woman is looking at a dude and she paying all the bills and all that, she's paying all her own bills.
Mm-hmm.
Is she expecting help from the person that she's dating?
And that was going to be what I asked you, because when you posted that about shared risk, I'm thinking, well, are you married? Because I feel like sometimes in dating, we share a little bit too much. Why are we? And I have to put myself out there. I did it. I did that. Before I even got married, I assumed a financial risk for my, at that point, fiance, boyfriend, whatever you want to call it, to try to free up some of his funds to put toward a vehicle. Let me take this off of you so you can handle that. I don't think I should have did that. When you put yourself out there, you ain't even married, ain't even engaged. If you put yourself out there and start, quote unquote, assuming risks, they're going to expect you to keep that junk up, bro.
Yeah, because the minute you assume a risk, the expectation is that you're going to continue to assume that risk.
Right. And I can't speak for men, and you can speak to that, but for women, we seem to be the ones that assume too many too soon. Can you take me to work? Can I use your car? Can you do this? And now in my case, he didn't ask. I did it on my own because I'm looking in the future. I want him to have A, B, and C. If I take this off his hands, I'm trying to be a quote unquote good woman. So the foundation of this part is, why are we assuming financial risk and we aren't husband and wife? It's becoming intertwined. We putting cars in each other's names, and we paying bills, we buying houses, we living together. Why, bro? Why?
This is what social media has put out there. This is what social media has put out there. If you're gonna date a woman, you're gonna be intentional with dating a woman. Then you're gonna pay the cost for it. Now, I think we both know that dating costs. We both know that. But social media.
Tell me that.
Well, first of all, dating costs money. That's one thing. Dating costs time. Dating costs emotional and mental investment, because you're putting both your mind now. In some cases, if the relationship goes beyond just talking stage and all that, and the infatuation and puppy dog stage, then you kind of get to the physical stage. So then there's also physical investment. So there's investments in that. So dating does have a cost attached to it, and a lot of us as men and women, and I'm saying both men and women, get confused when the bill comes.
Well,
because when the bill comes, and now all that emotional investment, all that mental investment, the time, the physical investment, the monetary investment, all that is literally payable. And
okay, well, put a bookmark right there. Who is responsible? I put it up on the screen. Who is responsible for those costs? Are we having enough conversation? We assume a lot of women preach this, and a lot of mothers teach this to their kids. That man should be paying for every date. If he wants you, he ought to be paying.
So let's see. Now again, social media has kind of thrown that particular trope out the window. So my thing is this: if we both like each other, who cares? Who cares about who's paying for the date?
Okay.
Who cares about who's paying for the date? If we're both dating each other, with intentions to take this further than take it further, then who cares who's paying?
Okay. Is it not based on who asks?
It doesn't matter.
If a man asks a woman out, I would like to take you to dinner.
Now, if I'm asking you, then I'm paying.
Because to me, that implies a couple things. Either I want to take you and pay, I want to take you and transport you. But there's some investment that he's saying he wants to make in order for this day to happen. So
no, if If I'm asking, I'm paying. If I'm asking, I'm paying.
Okay.
If I'm asking, I'm paying. If the woman asks now, she got to come out of pocket because she asked. Most women think that if I ask you to go take you on a date, then the expectation is for the guy to still pay. No, sweetie, you are asking me on a date.
I agree with that.
So I mean, to answer your question more directly, it becomes payable to both the man and the woman because in that instance, whoever asks pays.
Okay.
And then also the other part of that answer to that question is it becomes, if it's emotional investment, if it's physical investment, if it's mental investment, if it's a time investment, if that becomes payable to both parties. Because both parties have an
equal investment, don't you think? Why would it be so much on one person and not the other? But then again, it's what you allow, bro.
That is true. But also social media hype the thing up so much that if you're a broken dusty dude, then you shouldn't be paying for nothing. Then you shouldn't be dating and all this stuff. Baby, I don't know no man that no man that I know or no man in the history of the world should be considered a dusty, because that's just, to me, that's just denigrating, and I don't like that.
A very good point. Let's deal with that. Everybody in the room, broke and dusty. So the broke part is speaking of financial. So that means maybe he's not working, or he is working, but he doesn't have funds to date, because you just said dating costs, right?
Right.
So if you are a man, okay, and you have no room in your budget, I mean, your stuff is so tight, every single penny is accounted for. Should you be trying to date?
If you are going to date, find ways to make it budget friendly.
Such as,
if you are going to date, find ways to make it budget friendly. In other words, make it to where make it to where if you're spending money, you're gonna get the best bang for your buck. Now, that's not saying, and I don't mean count pennies. I mean, if you're counting pennies, again, make it budget friendly. Make it to where it's not gonna harm your pocket.
Okay. Well, you
coffee dates are
that Cheesecake Factory was a cheap place to go. Do you remember that video?
I remember that.
Well, the lady got picked up for one. The gentleman picked her up from the home, waiting for her after she was combing that little nappy braid for 2 hours. Picked her little trifling butt up, was taking her to the Cheesecake Factory, and she went live to humiliate her, saying, "Why would he take me to the Cheesecake Factory?" I was hurt for him because, for one, what's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory? I would have been okay with Coney Island. I just met you.
Some women will say, and I'm not gonna say all. There are some women out here they'll say it's attached to a mall or something, or it's a franchise. I don't see the issue with that.
Oh, so that would make it not so exclusive. So it has to be, Ruth Chris Steakhouse or Andiamo's, Italian cuisine or whatever to be first date worthy to someone.
Ruth Chris.
To her intention. Why are you doing this? Just to get some super duper surf and turf dinner, or are you here to engage and get to know someone? Because for me, I don't really care about the place per se. Of course, it should have some class. I ain't trying to be in nobody's backyard per se. But if you offered to take me out, you came and got me, so I ain't got to spend $5 a gallon in gas. Waited for me while I got ready. That's a whole other conversation. Don't have folks waiting on you. I would have pulled off after 5 minutes. And then you're going to shade him because he went to the Cheesecake Factory, which is a very nice restaurant, to be honest. So to your point, budget-free dating. If you know you are a working man, well, let me go back. If you are unemployed, if you are a man that does not have a job, should your focus be on dating right now if you're not even making anything at all?
Well, I think that's where the slippery slope comes in,
Uh-huh.
because I do believe that everybody thinks that, that they're able to date. People think that they're able to date, and they're able to date. But if you're again, being unemployed, well, I mean, I mean, the focus is to try to get yourself up, get your money up, and get everything
Ah,
right with yourself. So dating might not be a thing, might not be the thing for you to do at the moment. However, again, the thing with social media, again, say they everybody says that, okay, it shouldn't matter if you don't have any money or not, you should still be able to date.
well,
My hard stop is this: if I know if I'm not employed, I'm not looking to do any of that crap at the moment.
okay.
I'm trying to get money. I'm trying to get money. Damn I got a car. I know, well, I don't have a car note, but I got car insurance to pay for. I got maintenance upkeep for a car I got to pay. I got to take care of. I got gas to put in this thing.
Right.
Dating, yeah, that's kind of sort of going to be a non thing for this guy.
Well, let's talk about that, because you made a point and you said, in essence, everybody should be able to date. And I put the question about if the person's unemployed, does not have a home of their own, has minimal independence, meaning he's not taking care of his own bills, meaning he depends on someone else for shelter, meaning he doesn't have a vehicle to get around. Should he be dating, or she? And here's the concern, because if you do, and a woman takes that on, guess who's going to be asked to take the person on the dates? Her. Guess who's going to be going to have to pay? Her. So as a woman who has tried to say, you know what, I don't want to say I don't want to date him because he's in a tough spot. I see the keyword potential, so I'm going to give it a shot. The problem with that was everything was on me. He had no money to pay. He had no car to get there. So, and I not too long ago asked a man, do you think this should even be your focus right now? Because right now you can't even take care of you. And
Yep,
that's the
I
key. I
agree.
don't want nothing from you. When I'm dating somebody, I don't want anything but your time and your honesty and your attention. I'm looking to see how well you take care of you, sir. So if all the necessities of life, living, your housing, driving a car, insurances to keep that car on the road legally, medical insurance to keep you healthy, the basic necessities of adult living. If you don't have the majority of those, should your focus be trying to attach yourself to someone else? Because the problem with that is it becomes, and it looks like you are trying to use them as an escape. Mr. Reed says the guy is responsible for a date unless a woman knows his situation and doesn't mind helping out from time to time. Very good point, Mr. Reed. But that goes back to conversation. Because keep in mind, let's define what dating is. We're not in a relationship per se. We are in the course of, or in the process of, gathering data to determine if
Sorry
it's
about that.
that's okay. When you are dating somebody, and it goes back to defining these different stages, you're going out to have conversation to even determine if this person is compatible to go to another date, and then another, and then eventually exclusivity. So to your point, Mr. Reed, the conversation would go something like, hey, would be great for us to be able to have lunch. Now, of course, if he says, I want to take you, he got it. But if it's an open conversation, and maybe he's in between checks that week, and she says, well, I get paid this week. How about just grabbing a 2 for $25 at Applebee's and let's just kick it? And she don't mind doing that. Okay. However, ladies, be careful.
That 2 for 25 is different, bro.
You may be expected to do that depending on that man. Now, if he come back and say, you know what, next time it's on me, and I mean that, and he holds to that, then you may be okay. Mr. Reed says, what if the person is on a fixed income and let you know firsthand his or her situation? Then it's up to the individual that you are knowing to make that decision. Agreed. And you should be open and honest. If you are on a fixed income, ain't we all on a fixed income in essence?
Yep.
Anyway. But whether you are disabled, whether you only get paid once a month, whether you living off a lawsuit, whatever the case may be, whether you got a job that don't pay a whole lot, however fixed your income is, I think some transparency in, I want to take you out. I'm not rich, but I have budgeted a certain amount so we can go have a good dinner. And maybe we can share the load and alternate. I'm not opposed to that. Now, if the man can afford and pop that Amex card every time, pop, I ain't gonna stop him. But let's be honest about the world we live in today. The average person in our community or any community doesn't have an Amex card with an unlimited supply.
Yep.
And they may be on disability. Go ahead, bro.
And the other thing, they may not have that much. They may not have that much disposable income.
Right. But that goes back to being honest. Maybe you ought to make, like Mr. Reed said, if that person says, let me put this out here, I do have an income. It is fixed. My bills take up maybe the majority of that. However, the other part of that, Mr. Reed, is if you approaching me because you out here on the market, prepare your budget for dating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you want somebody in your life, no matter how fixed it is, if you are saying to the world, hey, young world, I want a lady. I want somebody in my life. I want a friend. Even if we just kick it and go to the movies and go to dinner and chit chat, I am ready to embark upon a relationship. As my brother said, it's going to cost.
Yep.
If you're going to do this, it's going to cost, because it's not fair to a lady for her to have to always pull out her debit card. It's not fair, in my opinion. If the man always has to, but I want to see if you're willing. If every time the bill comes, you backing up, or every time it's time to pay for the movie or the popcorn, you backing up, I'm going to side by you. Not pay for the movie, you can't get the popcorn. I pay for the movie, you can't get dinner. That's how I look at it, bro.
I look at it the same way. I do look at it the same way. I do. But
that post saying you gotta do everything, why are you here?
That's true.
That's kind of how I felt. That's kind of how I felt. If I'm always pulling my debit card out, always got to pick you up, always got to invest, and nothing is coming back my way, then you are less and less attractive to me. Real talk.
See, and this is the point I was gonna get to. Certain aspects in dating we get it. Unfortunately, it gets uneven. That's why I said shared risk. That's why I said shared risk and shared responsibility. Sometimes, and like you just mentioned, sometimes as a woman, you're pulling out your wallet, you pulling out your card all the time for dates, and then sometimes as men, we do the same thing. We pull out our card all the time for the dates that we're taking the people that we care, the people that we're trying to date with intention on. Okay. That when it becomes uneven like that, you already mentioned it. You already mentioned it. There's resentment there.
Yes.
There's resentment. If I'm coming out of my wallet every time we're doing something,
Yes.
And in 50%, and half the time it's not. Half the time it ain't an idea I came up with.
Yes.
That becomes the issue. If I'm pulling out my wallet every time that you want to go, that we're doing something like maybe,
Yes.
and I use myself as an example right now. There was a young lady I was thinking, I mean, kicking down money for like these little staycations and stuff like that, things of that nature. But then there's nothing reciprocal coming back from that. Dating, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Dating requires reciprocity.
Oh, indeed.
If you are not going to be reciprocal, and I don't mean reciprocal as in the physical part of it. If you're not being reciprocal by doing the same thing, or at least showing some form of gratitude, it makes everything else just seem really just not even worth it. And I'm going to say this from my own personal experience. If I'm doing all that and there's no reciprocity, and there's no gratitude, I don't want to date you. I don't want to date you.
But we keep going though. We allow it. Let's sit there for a minute. How many times does that person have to show you that they're not reciprocating? We keep going back. Well, I didn't invest in them now. I love them. So now we keep giving. Okay, I'm gonna come get you. Okay, I'll pay for that. Okay, I'll take care of that. Okay, I'll take care of the hotel. Okay, I'll take care of that. How many times, if you keep accepting that and it's not a hard no, then you are perpetuating the behavior. This is the thing. If you're gonna take a stand, your no gotta mean no, I'm not doing that. But we don't do that.
Nope. We don't. And it's and again, like I mentioned earlier, to build means that both people are contributing to building the house. If I'm dating you and we've been on all these, we've been on like maybe 5 or 10 dates, and on the 11th date we decide that we want to make this thing exclusive. Then now we're making it exclusive. But those first 10 dates help set the foundation for the house to be built. Those first 10 days set the foundation for the house to be built. I mean, now if it's on solid ground.
But my thing is, let me just say this: exclusivity is still not marriage.
Right.
Just because I am your woman and you are my man. See, sometimes we skip stages. We go into this building together stuff, and this is why folks shack and don't get married for 20 and 30 years. They move in together. They got all these bills together, kids together, all this togetherness, and you're not even husband and wife, and that man or woman can walk away at any moment and you stuck.
Oh, yeah.
So how do we go from, okay, we are a couple, and then we just fast forward into now our lives are so freaking intertwined, we can't tell you from me.
You're right. You're so right. But now long-term relationships aren't marriage. I can tell. I think we both know that.
But we long-term relationships aren't. I mean, we so dang on intertwined, and I'm talking about me too. Even before my ex-husband asked me to marry him, my everyday revolved around his everyday. What do you need? Where are you going? It was so meshed. Yes, I saw a future with him at that time, but we built this expectation and this framework that I was the backbone, even when I wasn't even carrying his name. And we got to slow freaking down.
And again, that's another slippery slope there. That's another slippery slope. One that a lot of people end up falling on. That what you just mentioned is the sword that a lot of us fall on.
Ooh wee.
And we end up getting impaled, and we don't know why we impaled. No, you
Yes.
know why you impaled you. And and this is not to say that. And what I'm about to say is not is. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is not to say that you should not intermesh your life with someone that you're exclusively dating. You can, you should. However, there should be a hard limit on how much.
Yes.
How much you're intermeshing your life with that person.
Yes, we immerse ourselves, many of us. And let me just go back. For one of the major reasons that I wanted to be married so bad was to have that immersion. I got tired of dating people where I felt so disconnected from their day-to-day. I felt like an afterthought or a booty call or an ornament on a Christmas tree, as opposed to someone that was a part of their life. And Kim, K-E-M, has that song, Share My Life, Baby. And you should be able to share it to a point. When you're not married, it's still you, your bills, your life. Yes, you should be talking to each other and good morning, checking on you, and how are you? You know, and there could be some kind of help with something. That's okay to a point. But we get so immersed. I know for me as a woman, I took on everything for him. And guess what? I did it with a smile because I thought that was my job. I am wife material. I'm wifey material. So I got to be out showing him that I can bring the bacon, fry it, slice it, dice it, make bacon bits, whatever. But what I did was I showed him that I was willing to be his everything without that coming back to me. And that was the next years of my life.
We want the title. We see this is you hit another point, and this is we want the title without the commitment. I want you to be my wife, but I don't want you to commit. I don't want you to commit to the wife thing.
I was giving all of that. And my godmother would tell me, stop giving a man wifely privileges, and he's not your husband. Yeah. What incentive would it be to marry you if you already giving him the milk and you the cow? You out here already getting everything. You're living together, rolling over on him when you get ready. You're paying his bills. You do everything, But I thought that was what one was supposed to do to prove to him that she is worthy of being his wife. My framework, my mindset was off.
But see, in the same instance, in the same breath, the man got to prove to you that he's her husband, that he's husband material, right, or that he's worthy of being your husband.
Correct.
This goes both ways. This is not unilateral. This is bilateral. It goes both ways.
Right.
If I'm dating you to marry you, to be with the intent to marry you, I gotta prove to you that I'm capable of being your husband, and you have to prove that you're capable of you being my wife.
Somebody, for a man to prove or to even show, I hate the word prove, but it kind of is, for him to exhibit behavior that will help her feel comfortable and secure. Does it not start with, is he able to take care of him?
Yep.
Meaning,
it starts with that.
Husband, if he can't even be a man, does he have an apartment? Does he have a vehicle? Is he working? Does he have insurance? Is he secure in his own finances before you try to put a family on him?
And I think certain things I won't say certain things. And for me, this is the touch point for me. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes back to what you said just a moment ago. The touch point for me is that And I probably said this in a couple of forums before. And well, this is I'll ask them. It's a question that I've asked, and I asked the woman this. I said, "Hey, sister, are you a man? Do you know what that is? Have you walked in those shoes?" And she'll say no. Then you have no idea what a man is unless you've seen your father operating that. Okay. And trust me, sis, that's not a dig on you. It's just it's not a dig on you, but it speaks to the tropes that social media and all these relationship gurus throw out here at us, men and women, and expect us to throw those same tropes out at each other. Well, I hear you ain't a man, huh? You walked in my shoes, man. You walked in my shoes, ma'am. There was no way I could ever say that. Tell a woman that you're not a woman. I ain't never lived my life as a woman.
Okay.
I walked in these 53 years. I walked in the shoes of a male. I've never walked in the shoes of a woman, so I have no idea what it's like to be a woman. I have a general idea.
Right.
I have a general idea because I have four kids, and I watched all of them give birth to these kids, my children. So right. I have a general idea what that means, what a woman is, but okay. I don't have the whole picture. And like I said, it's not a dig on you, but it's these social media tropes that throw these things out here to us. Yeah. And some women and some men will use those same tropes and tactics to denigrate somebody or make somebody feel like they're less than, especially if that person is doing everything that they can. You know, I do agree with you, and I do agree with you on the aspect of the simple fact is, you know, are you a functioning adult? Are you a functioning male or female? Are you 100% responsible for yourself? Can you take care of yourself without anyone's assistance? I mean, if that's the case, then okay, then you pass one of the criteria for dating. The other criteria would be, are you mentally and emotionally stable? Are you dealing with trauma? Are you dealing with traumas from past? Are you dealing with traumas from your past? Everybody has traumas. Everybody has something that they're dealing with from a past experience or a past experience in their life. It's how you move in that matters. Are you moving forward in that? Are you healing? Are you healed, or are you in the process of healing? Those factors matter too. The other thing is, are you, like we mentioned earlier, are you conversational? Are you able to sit down and have a conversation, without it being adversarial? Can we agree to disagree?
Right.
Can I tell you something? Can we have a conversation and speak on things and it not be, well, it's me versus you and we're not going to agree on that? No. All these things I won't say all these things are required, but these are needed for us to and I say black men and black women because we're the ones a lot of these social media things speak to. We have to first, like I mentioned earlier, we have to get back to the simple fact of understanding, number one, who we are as individuals.
I agree.
To the point of understanding who we are as individuals, and then get to the point of where we can respect and love each other with kindness and deference, and honor each other with the same kindness and the same deference. And then also, like the third tenet you mentioned, humanity. Don't look at me as just a black man or a black woman. Look at me as a human being too. I am a human being before I was a black man.
That's right. I agree, bro. I agree.
Look at me in that sense. And if you look at me in that sense, I promise you, I will look at you in the same regard. Because if we're going to relate to each other, we're gonna engage into these relationships. We're engaged into a relationship to where it's going to lead to to you walking down the aisle and both of us saying I do. We gotta be relational to each other. We gotta learn. We gotta learn. The thing with this is the thing that irritates the crap out of me. And I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound controversial. And I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We as black men and black women, we have no earthly idea of how to understand each other. The gap between us is so large that the gap between us is so large that even with a megaphone, even with a megaphone and a whole bunch of speakers and a microphone, neither one of us can hear each other. How can I understand you how can I ever understand you how can I ever get to know you if I don't understand you?
You can't.
How can I get to know your thoughts, your fears, your what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what are you afraid of if you are unwilling to tell me what that is.
Right.
And then me being the person who's asking, being receptive to that and accepting that without judgment.
Yes. We got a couple of comments. Leonard says that's a great question for the women to answer. Which question was that, Leonard, that you want women to answer? He says social media can be a blessing and a curse. That's what is killing the dating scene. Yes, it is. And that's why when I posted that, I knew that I may get mixed emotions because it's just one meme, and depending on how it hits you, you may disagree or not. But that's why I wanted to do this. That's why I wanted to have a conversation with my brother, and we're going to have more with not just Fred, but I'm going to invite some of my brothers to get that male perspective, because you can look at a comment on social media and have an opinion of a person, but you don't know what they've been through. You don't know where they've been. You don't know what has hurt them, who has hurt them, that has led to how they feel. And I believe in love. I believe in marriage. I don't talk down about either one. It's because my marriage didn't work. I know where I went wrong. I know what red flags I allowed to just go over my head. And I've had to learn from that. But also my love for me has had to increase, so I don't settle for anything less than what I believe is God's best for me. And I'm going to focus on me, on loving me, on building up my health, on building up my wealth, on building up my self-esteem, on building up, the things I want to do. He says the question about having an idea of what a good man is. It is a good question. We can only look at what we've been told a good man is. We can look at what you've been exposed to. We can look at the Bible and see what a man is supposed to be in the home in terms of being a father. There's scripture on that. Being a husband, there's scripture on that. What you're told, but what the movies show you. How you see that is going to come from whatever your experiences are. But if you haven't had those experiences, who knows where that's coming from?
And to elaborate even more on that, the idea of what a good man is wholly subjective.
Yeah.
It is wholly subjective. It is not objective. Now there's some objectivity in it because the Bible does give definitions of what clear definitions of what that is and what that looks like. But to any individual, it is wholly subjective.
Agreed.
It is very much wholly subjective because what you think a good man is will be different. Is what LSG's definition of a good man could be different from any other woman's definition of a good man. And that is the thing. Subjectivity makes this a difficult question to add. It doesn't make it a difficult question to answer, but it makes it a question to answer based on perspectives, different perspectives. Because every man's gonna give a different answer.
True. Very true.
The answer I give is, again, it's gonna be based upon my personal experience and what I think and what I think of myself.
True. I agree with that.
Brother man, it's subjective with objectivity laced into it.
Okay, we got a comment. Leonard says men and women need to open up about their true selves. Agreed. If you're looking for a true relationship, both sides need to open up on what they want in life and a friendship first, growing into a relationship. Yes, that all sounds wonderful, but can I be really honest? If two people ain't dated in a minute and they lonely and they want somebody real bad, that friendship they're gonna jump in the bed, or they're gonna be on the phone because they want someone so bad. You shouldn't be able to talk to someone. But I'm telling you, I agree, Mr. Reed. But in my experience, when you just at a point where you just want somebody so bad, we don't allow a friendship to pursue or ensue, if that's the word. We jump right into I want you, you want me, and now here we go, and then we crash and burn. But let
me answer that particular thing. It's also incumbent upon that person to understand what that is. If I'm dating someone and I know they ain't been dating somebody in a while, my thing is I'm gonna proceed with caution. Because I already know this person. I know this person ain't dated nobody in a while, and I know she might be on fire, and I know that if we start to hugging and all this stuff, and then next thing you know, clothes on the floor, and no, you gotta proceed with caution, because because if you don't proceed with caution, it'll ruin something. It'll ruin a friendship. And next thing you know, now there's apprehension. There's also there's regret. There's resentment, and now everything's all out of whack. And now what would have been a beautiful friendship now turned into something ugly and adversarial. So with people who haven't dated for a while, proceed with caution and understand, and know what you're getting in, know what you're getting into, because know what you're getting into. Because if y'all hugging on each other and all this stuff, and then next thing you know, clothes hit the floor. Next thing you know, both of y'all waking up next to each other, asking what the hell happened.
And even if it doesn't get physical like that, it is very easy when you have been without someone or without the right someone for so long. Then when you meet somebody and you are clicking, vibing, it's like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? Sometimes the rules and the boundaries you think you're going to have go out the door because you just want this person to be with you and only you.
And them rules and boundaries got to stay in place.
They have to. And you have to stick to your guns. 90-day rule. We talk about that on my singles page. Stick to that. At least take the 90 days to say, are we even compatible to even date? Not exclusivity per se. Can we even take this 90 days to talk, get to know each other, go outside, go to dinner, go to a movie, walk around at the Riverwalk to create a friendship, a foundation? Now, sometimes it seems like it's so, this has got to be God. The birds are singing and the trees are swinging in the breeze. The violins is playing. Oh my God, I'm in love. Been there. And I'm not saying you can't be in love like that. I believe in love at first sight. It could happen. But in the meantime, in the real world, in 2026, give yourself that time to see, am I just blinded by what I want so bad and so desperately that I'm moving faster than I should?
And a line
age, you got to slow it down.
At this age, alignment is important.
Oh, for real.
At our big ages now, alignment is important.
I agree.
Can our lives align with each other? You know, our beliefs don't have to align with each other, but everything else has to. Are we? They always. I mean, everybody talks about the equally yoked thing. That's a concept that's cool and all, but
what we've been talking about is that. What we've talked about this whole time is trying to determine if you are equally yoked in intelligence, in aspiration, in finance, in spirituality. It does kind of boil down to that.
Yeah, but the way I look at it, everything doesn't have to be like spot on equal. Therefore, in that instance, there should be room for variance. I mean, and I look at the equally yoked concept from the whole of an individual, not just the Bible's interpretation of it, because I look at it from the way I interpreted it is from the whole of a person, and none of us are going to come into a relationship quote unquote equally yoked, because there's variance.
But then that goes to how you define it. I'm not looking for someone that's a clone of me. Equally yoked meaning, are you committed to God? Are you committed to yourself? Are you out here grinding? You don't have to have the same job, same favorite color, love Chinese food, love Fat Heartbeats, love color purple. I mean, are you at least, can we agree in the word of God from cover to cover on when it comes to life? Can we at least have a common ground where we're going to try to walk this Christian walk out as best we can day by day? That's what I feel equally yoked is. For example, if someone says, I want to wait until marriage to have sex, and you only agree to that, well, if that's what it takes to get to her. No, but you don't see the value in waiting for that. You only doing it because I asked you to do it. Come on now. At some point, you have to know it's going to get the best of you. Why are you agreeing to that? If this ain't your life, if you ain't walking with God on this level, why are we talking?
And that's nefarious anyway.
Now,
that's nefarious, and that is, so I won't even say nefarious. That's freaking. So if someone told me that I'm gonna wait till marriage to have sex, and I say, okay, I agree with that. And I'll do that. But eventually, like you mentioned, my fiery Lord's gonna get the best of me. And so now I agreed to have sex with you based upon the condition that we get married.
So it's under false pretenses.
Yep, false pretenses, and also
people say don't say so much to the person about what you want, but on the other end, you gotta say something, because I'm not sleeping with you.
How is someone gonna know what you want if it's not mentioned?
Exactly. At some point, you got to be able to say, but what I don't want a man to do, don't just say, sure, that's fine, just to appease me if you're not on that same path. That's what I mean by unequally yoked. If you're not saying, you know what, Latanya, I was going to say the same thing, because I'm also a Christian. I also believe, now I'm not perfect. I have a child and I wasn't married when I conceived her. But at this point in my life, I want to do this God's way. I don't want a man to agree to that just to get to me and appease me. I want him to want that life. I don't want him to just say, okay, sure, no problem. I don't want that. I'm tired of that.
See, sure is just a quick way to end the argument or a discussion.
Right.
If I'm saying sure, that means I don't want to talk.
Right.
This conversation is over. And
the more you talk, you see who real and who not. The more you talk and be around each other about what you want and about what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do, you'll see. You'll trust me. Stuff will start coming up in conversation that'll make you be like, oh, where that come from? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But see, here's the thing with this, and this is the thing with dating, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree. I'm pretty sure you agree with me with this one. the representative always pops up first before the real person reveals his as him or herself.
Real talk.
The representative is always present. So that person on their P's and Q's. Now, this is not to say that a person cannot be on their P's and Q's. This is not to say that a person can't be honest and true and as it pertains to letting someone know about dating. But in some cases, the representative is always going to be the one that's going to be displayed. That's going to be on front and center.
And that's why you got to give yourself time, because we putting that representative out there. Everybody's saying all the right things and doing all the right things, and it's so perfect. You got to, and not that it won't be good and you wait on the shoe to drop, but you got to be honest. You don't know this person.
Nope.
And they can seem to be everything you ever wanted, but let it grow organically. Get to know them on a friendship level. It's so easy to fast forward when you're feeling good about it. Oh, this is just perfect. Oh, I get it. Been there. You
miss important context when you fast forward.
Yeah. Well, let me get out of here, bro. I got to get ready for bed. I got an early morning. Thank you. We're going to do part 2. Thank all of you for kicking it with us. We're going to do this again because I think this is the context we need to have amongst men and women concerning relating with each other to have a cohesive relationship. And a lot of it's going to start with self. Get you together before you want to jump, in the bandwagon with somebody. Before you want to with somebody. Get you together. Let's get ourselves self-sufficient. Get our health together, get our money right, do some traveling, see the world, have some options.
Yeah, man.
Before we just start honing in and want to ride off in the sunset so fast. But bro, I thank you for kicking in with me. I will see you all Sunday night at 7. Dr. C is doing her show on Eastside She Rose. And we're gonna have a really good time. You got any announcements, bro? What you got going on?
Friday, premiering at 7 o'clock on Spotify. This is part 3. It's part 3 of my series that I did on a game called Titanfall. It's the conclusion of it. Conclusion of the series. So I was talking about why the game is still feels modern after all this time and everything like that. Now next Friday, I'm starting a new series on Spotify. This series talks about African American representation in video games.
Okay.
Part 1 is talking about the pioneers, the vanguards, and the pathfinders. I'm also going to include. I'm also going to talk about how certain aspects of Black culture has been injected into video games. Whether that's music, whether that's dance, whether that's art, whether that's even clothing and style. So that's gonna be a 3-part series. So tune into that one because I think a lot of people I do believe that a lot of people don't understand how important it is, how important representation matters.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, everybody. I bid you farewell. Have a good night. Be safe. And stay tuned, subscribe on YouTube and follow on Facebook. I appreciate the dialogue, brother. We'll get ready for part 2. Good night, everybody.
Yes, ma'am. Deuces.
Let's go.